Welcome to the Cryptonometron. Today I'm doing a video on George Soros. Who is he and why is he getting involved in cryptocurrency? Well, we'll find that out. But if this is your first time here and you want to know about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, ICOs and other related stuff, then click on the subscribe button and click on the bell notification icon so you get all my notifications as soon as I go live or as soon as I upload a video. Okay? Let's get going. So who is George Soros? Well, you probably would have heard of him. There he is there. He is one of the world's most successful investors. He has made billions out of his investment career. But it wasn't all like that. In February 2018, he had a net worth of around 8 billion. Now, he's been richer than that. He's given quite a lot of money to his philanthropic causes. He does tend to give a lot to charities that he picks. He's involved politically as well, and he's also written books. He is Hungarian-American, principally known as an investor, and he's a business magnate, philanthropist, political activist, and also an author as well, as I just said. He actually survived Nazi Germany, occupied Hungary, and ended up, after the war, emigrating to England in 1947. Now, it's quite an interesting story behind how he survived in the war. His family were Jewish, but they weren't really practicing Jews. So they pretended to be Christians, and they managed to buy some papers that said they were Christians from some corrupt official, and they got away with it that way. So they survived the war. And then he went to England in 1947. So he studied at the London School of Economics under a very famous gentleman, a philosopher called Sir Karl Popper. You might have heard of him if you are old school like me and listen to the old dance music like the Orb. Karl Popper is spoken on Oob, I think, one of the Orb tracks anyway, about his three-world theory. But Sir Karl Popper educated George Soros, and George Soros actually graduated in the 50s with a bachelor's degree and then finally a master's in philosophy from the London School of Economics. Currently, he is the 19th richest person in the world, so he's still got a bit of coin in the bank. And he's the world's richest hedge fund manager, so he knows what he's doing when it comes to hedge funds. He's 19th on the list of the 400 wealthiest Americans. He's now, I guess he considers himself a Hungarian-American, now he lives there. And between 1979 and 2011, he donated more than 11 billion to various philanthropic causes. So, like, you know, he likes to give money away. So his early career, he was actually a traveling salesman, and he traveled around seaside resorts, particularly in Wales, where he sold stuff on the beaches. And he felt that he wasn't really suited to that. So he kept writing to all these banks and merchant banks looking for jobs, but he was rejected on many occasions, and it just made him even more determined. So he eventually got a start at Singer and Freelander of London. They're a merchant bank, and that's where he began his financial career. In 1956, he moved to New York City, where he worked as an arbitrage trader for F.M. Meyer. And of course, New York City was where it was all happening, especially in the financial world, Wall Street. So it was a good move for him. And in 1959, after 3 years at F.M. Meyer, he moved to Wertheim & Co. as an analyst of European securities. Now, at that particular time, there was a lot of American interest in investing in European securities with the European Union being formed and the economic zone in Europe. So from 1963 to 1973, he was vice president at Arnold and S. Bleichroder, and he didn't really enjoy it there. He borrowed some money to start a hedge fund. And later on, in 1969, he set up the Double Eagle hedge fund with $4 million of investors' capital, and he put $250,000 of his own money into this Double Eagle hedge fund. And in 1973, the Double Eagle hedge fund had $12 million and formed the basis of the Soros Fund. And this is how it all started. So Soros and a guy called Jim Rogers received returns on their share of capital and 20% of the profits each year. Banker. So in 1970, Soros founded the famous Soros Fund Management, and it became its chairman at the time. It was later renamed as the Quantum Fund, named after the physical theory of quantum mechanics. Goes back to all the philosophical studies he did at the London School of Economics, of course, under Sir Karl Popper. And by 1981, the fund had grown to a staggering 400 million. It actually lost about half its value that year, though, a bit later on, and was around 200 million by the end of 1981. Still goes to show what you can achieve. So in July 2011, Soros returned funds from investors' money, about $1 billion, and instead he thought, I'll stick my own money in, and he invested from his own $24.5 billion family fortune at the time. So by 2013, the Quantum Fund has made $5.5 billion. It's basically the most successful hedge fund in history. So, you know, very impressive indeed. And since its inception in 1973, the fund has generated over 40 billion US dollars. These are staggering amounts of money, especially from one hedge fund. So there's other things that he's done that made him quite a controversial figure. One of them was shorting the pound in 1992. Now, he was dubbed the man who broke the pound, or broke the Bank of England, because effectively he shorted the pound and pulled the government's trousers down in 1992. The government was at the time trying to join the European single currency. But Soros knew that the economy in Britain was in trouble, so he amassed lots of the pound and then dumped it. And at one point he had over, I think, about $15 billion worth of British pounds, and offered to sell back to the government at the time. Needless to say, he wasn't wasn't too popular with the government or Norman Lamont, who was the Chancellor at the time. And he basically broke the back of the Bank of England. The pound went down in value quite considerably, and Soros made a lot of money as a result. The other controversy in the 90s that he had was the Asian financial crisis. Malaysian PM Mahathir accused him of causing the crisis by dabbling again in currency trading. And the crisis, if you're not aware, actually originated in Thailand. The Thailand basically it devalued the baht, and it had a domino effect from there, and all throughout Asia economies suffered as a result, and their currencies went down the swanny, and it caused quite a lot of economic hardship for a few years, especially in Southeast Asia, and it actually resonated globally as well. So he was accused of that, but then later on Mahathir withdrew his accusation and said it wasn't Soros, it was just bad economic management. But there you go. So he's already been painted as a bit of a manipulator, and he's a bugbear of the right wing as well, because he's got Jewish roots, of course, and because he's quite a liberal philanthropist, and he gives a lot of money to these kind of charities. He's an internationalist as well, globalist, if you like. He is a bugbear for the right wing, and they paint him as a manipulator, wanting a global currency, one world order, that type of thing. So that's another little aspect about him. So on to crypto and what it actually means for crypto now. So he's already instructed his fund managers to go in on cryptocurrency. So his trading desks will now be looking at cryptocurrency as a viable trading platform to earn money. And what this means is a lot of these traders are experts. They're already, working full time with stocks and shares and other investments. And if they are going into cryptocurrency, you can rest assured they will be making calls at probably the right time, and you probably want to follow what calls they're making if indeed they are shorting or going long on certain currencies. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually pick to go in on. I would imagine they will stick to, initially anyway, some of the more established cryptos, especially Bitcoin, and then maybe some in the top 20 as well that actually have a legitimate use case and a proper structure behind them. So this will add liquidity to the market with hedge fund managers and traders for funds like the Quantum Fund playing and dabbling in the market. This will add additional liquidity. Now, that means there's going to be more trading basically, and that's good for any type of commodity and any asset class. More trading is good. It also may lead to a decrease in volatility as well. As liquidity increases, volatility tends to decrease overall. So Allegedly, Soros traders are now on the Gemini exchange, so we've been warned to watch for movement there. So if you're on Gemini, you can have a look at what's going on, volume, different movements on there, and it might signal earlier on the Gemini exchange than it will on certain other platforms. So little hint there if you want. Now another important thing is he's made billions on currency trading already. So he will no doubt be hoping that crypto gets classified as a currency rather than a security, rather than something else, rather than a commodity. He'll want Bitcoin to get classified as a currency. And the reason he'll want this is he's going to accumulate and he's going to want to trade it as a currency because that's something he understands more than, and something he can control more than he can, say, for example, a commodity or a security. So he'll be pushing governments, no doubt, to probably get Bitcoin accepted as a dual currency and perhaps even a world currency. And that goes back to some of the conspiracy theories I just spoke about. And, the big question will be, is he going to go long or is he going to short on Bitcoin? And, time will tell. We don't really know. Now, if he shorts Bitcoin futures, for example, it will suppress the price because effectively he's betting on the future price, and he'll want to control and he'll want to understand and know where the price is going to be. So you can see probably the Bitcoin price will be capped if he shorts on the futures at a certain point, so that it won't go out of control and he can earn money. If he longs, well, that's the long game. And that's when you'll see parabolic rises in Bitcoin if he longs on it. So only time will tell. We don't really know what he's going to do or what his traders are going to do, what he's instructed them to do. So we just have to wait and see. So that's my George Soros video. I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of insight into the man and how he made his money. And also, what's he going to do in cryptocurrency? What's going to happen? It's not all clear yet, but it gives us a little bit of information. And it'll be interesting to see how it affects the market and how it affects our investments as well. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe, and click that bell notification icon to get all my new notifications and know when I upload and I go live. We'll see you tomorrow.